Dave Ramsey and his shocking take on Social Security. In fact, I have this clip right here, which I'm going to play in just a second so you can see and hear for yourself exactly what Dave Ramsey is saying about Social Security. And I also want to react to it because what he is talking about here is actually pretty true, as we all recognize the Social Security program is great, but it's also falling behind every single year. And if you are one of the beneficiaries receiving benefits from this program, I think you can probably recognize, yeah, your benefits are certainly not keeping up. And what are the other options? Because I don't think a whole lot of people recognize this, including a lot of the politicians, and maybe is some of this done on purpose to the beneficiaries. Well, I'm going to react to all that, and after I play this clip here, so we can hear exactly what Dave Ramsey is saying about all this. And I want to bring this to your attention because I think this is actually really interesting, and he's making some really good points here about it. Now, to give full credit, this clip is actually one that I took out of a podcast that I often listen to, the Iced Coffee Hour with Graham and Jack. Jack is actually the one asking the questions to Dave right now, but again, just want to give full credit to those guys. Great podcast, by the way. Really like the guests that they have on there. All right, anyway. Let's play the tape here, and I'll come back in just a minute. We will talk through the details and some of the key points that Dave makes here and what I want to bring to your attention. Now, quick side note, if you're not familiar with who Dave Ramsey is, he's one of these financial gurus. He's the guy that basically says, don't go into debt, don't use credit cards, cut up your credit cards, use cash to pay for everything, which I don't know if that's all that realistic anymore these days. I have multiple credit cards, so I'm not sure if Dave would really like me, but that's just my personal situation. All right, anyway, I'm pretty sure that you've heard of Dave Ramsey at this point. All right, anyway, let's play the tape here. I'll come back in just a minute, and we'll talk through what Dave says. All right, here he is.
Quarter of the entire budget of the government goes towards Social Security. What are your thoughts on overall retirement income, Social Security? Should we push out the retirement age? Is this something that we should be dealing with, or just say, okay, we need to take care of the people that have worked their entire life and maybe not been financially prudent, and then give them Social Security?
Well, Social Security was never intended mathematically nor philosophically or nor politically to be your retirement plan.
Couldn't it have worked, like shaken out mathematically, if they just kept individual accounts for each person for the most part? That's how it should
honey,
be.
if we had individual accounts and put it in 2%, I mean, it has a negative rate of return. Social Security is a negative rate of return. So if we just put it in there and didn't spend it and gave it back out, you'd have more. If you just broke even. But if you put it in an account and got 2%, God, if you put it in an account and got 7%, you'd have like bazillions of dollars more. Bush tried to talk about privatizing a portion of it.
All right, so there's the clip of the interview with Dave Ramsey. Now, first off, I want to point out something that he said from the very start. He indicated that Social Security was never meant to be as a retirement plan. Now, this may not be a very popular thing to say, but that is actually true. Social Security was set up in such a way to only pay beneficiaries 40% of what they were earning during their working career. For example, let's just say that somebody was earning, say, $50,000 a year on average over all the years that they were working. Social Security was set up in such a way to pay that individual about 20 grand a year. That would be 40% of that person's basically their earned income while they were working. Well, if they're working and earning, say, 50, but yet they go to retire and collect Social Security and get $20,000, that's going to be a tough day, right? So when he says that, that's actually true. Now, as you go through and you listen to this a little bit further, he talks about Social Security being a negative rate of return. Okay, so this is actually pretty interesting as well, because that is also very true. Now, let me point this out super quickly. Let's just say this. Let me give you a real life practical example. If you are currently a Social Security beneficiary, every single year that goes by, are your benefits keeping up with the actual cost of living? Now, I totally recognize every single year we get the cost of living adjustment, right? For 2026, it's 2.8%, okay? But even with that calculated into your benefit, are your benefits actually keeping up with the real cost of living? And if you think back over the last, say, 35 years that you were working and that they used to calculate your benefit, all of the money that you paid in through Social Security payroll taxes over all of those years, which I think you would probably feel sick to your stomach if you understood how much money that you paid in through payroll taxes over all of that time. Trust me, you probably don't want to know that number because you would probably feel very, very sad how much money you paid in FICA taxes during that time. I'll give you a quick little hint. 6.2% of every single dollar up to the wage cap every single year, okay? There's a small percentage of people that actually earn up to the wage cap every single year. My point is, if you're an employee, 6.2% of literally every single dollar that you earned was paid in taxes. If you were self-employed, you got the luxury of paying all 12.4%. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that you have probably paid in. But my point being is that they grabbed that money from you. It just sat there in the trust fund, and then 35 years later, or at some point in your life, however many years later, you went to actually file for Social Security and start getting that money paid back to you on a very, very teeny tiny basis, on a monthly basis for the rest of your life, and maybe you'll get some of that money back, or maybe the bulk of it at some point. But point being is that, yes, it's absolutely a negative rate of return because basically the time value of money, right? Money has a time value. A lot of people don't realize this, is that money today is worth way more than money's going to be worth in 5 or 10 years. Money 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years ago was worth way more than money is worth today, right? The time value of money. As we all recognize, as we all got a firsthand lesson in just over the last several years, depletion of purchasing power, as in money loses value because of inflation. Every single year we get hammered, as in the purchasing power of our dollars gets less and less, right? Now get this as well. I find this to be super fascinating as well. But think of this. Every single year we get the annual Social Security Board of Trustees annual report that comes out, okay? In 2025, it came out in June. And that was on the behalf of 2024. But here's what they said. There was about $2.5 plus trillion in the trust fund. On the $2.5 trillion, guess how much interest they were paid on $2.5 trillion? You can think like, wow, I bet they were paid like a lot of money on that in interest over the course of the 1 year. You're thinking $2.5 trillion. Just think if you had that much money sitting in a savings account. I agree. And what were savings accounts paying during that time? 3.5%, 4%, 4.25%? Yeah, exactly. Well, guess what? During 2024, in that 1 year period of time, the Social Security Trust Fund collected on $2.5 trillion, $69 billion in interest. And you might think, wow, that's a lot of money to be getting in interest. No, it's actually pathetically low. The reason that I say that, if you run the math on this, they collected a 2.75% interest rate on $2.5 trillion. They literally lost money in the trust fund because of overall inflation and how much they were paid. Okay, the trust fund collected a 2.75% yield on $2.5 trillion of money just sitting there. They literally lost probably 2.5% just to inflation. That's not a good strategy whatsoever. Well, guess what that does to the beneficiary? That means that the beneficiary is also losing. Yes, losing. So when Dave Ramsey says it's a negative rate of return, take your pick. It's a negative rate of return in what sense? Every single sense of what he is saying is 100% true. It is a negative rate of return. All the money that you paid in over 35 years of working, yeah, 100% negative. By the time that you're getting that money back, that money is worth so much less than what it was worth when you paid it in. There you go, that's negative. The trust fund is literally also getting a negative rate of return by about 2.5% just in 2024 alone. Just a few years ago, when we were in the very high inflationary times, again, the trust fund lost about 7% because it was only collecting about 2.5%, again, from interest, but yet it was, inflation was like, what, 8%, 9%, something like that, right? Remember that? So again, they lost massively. So yes, again, this may not be like a super popular thing to say, but this is why the program is so broken. It was set up in such a way that literally fails the beneficiary, as I've been saying for many, many years, and why I continue to make these videos and why I continue to hammer down on this and make such a big deal about this is because they need to change the program in a huge way for the beneficiary. It is so incredibly important to do this. Anyway, I hope this helps you. I just want to point this out for you. I find this to be very, very interesting, and I like you to hear perspectives from other people as well, especially a big name like Dave Ramsey. Just want to point that out for you. Anyway, drop your comments down below. Let me know, what do you think about this? I would love to hear your feedback if you're interested in sharing. Otherwise, if you've not done so, please consider subscribing. 100% free. Big subscribe button down below. Please share the video. Big share button right down below the video as well. Otherwise, let me know what else I can do for you. I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. Please enjoy your day. Have a good one. Again, please consider subscribing and sharing the video. Otherwise, check out the other 6,000 plus videos here on the channel in the video library. Until next time, enjoy, take care, and I'll catch you again later in the next one.